Welcome back to the workshop, everybody. So today we got a special one. We're gonna do a little bit of slicing of some parts for Keith. Today, let's see. I'm gonna show you what we got here. So we're gonna bring up this machined one first. So we got a bunch of these Monarch lathe parts. So this is the finished machine version. And what you can see is they got a hole here, but there's not a good way to print this without support material because of this gap right here is so large. It can't do that overhang and make a good hole. Because the most ideal position to print this is like this. And there's a bunch of other longer pieces that have the same issue. So what I did was I actually took the parts. So this is the whole batch of parts. There's one each of these big long ones, two of these mid-sized ones, and then four of these little ones. But what I did, and we'll just show you, at the top of the hole, I made a 1/2 millimeter thick bridge. I just butted it up right close to where the hole is there. This allows the printer just to go across there. The only thing that sucks is I have a little bit of post-processing where I'll have to take and chase it with a drill bit. But that being so thin and having a good pilot hole, drilling it will be no problem. But anyway, so that's what I did there. And let's go back to Cura. Back up. And so what I did when I was actually doing the batch of them, let's see, pattern. So I did not design these. Our friend Charles did the work yet again. Beautiful work setting this or doing these designs. But what I did, I always like to orient the parts where they run, the long flats run in parallel with the bed. So we'll just keep rotating these around. And I actually put these two pieces like this. And this is kind of an after the fact deal because I was kind of in a rush and got already printed them off. They're on their way to Georgia now. Yeah, once I got all those pieces in, then I clicked on this one and multiply object. Because I just needed two of those. I always like to kind of position them first because otherwise you have to rotate every single one of them to be the correct orientation. And this one I did. I want three more of those. So there's all the pieces. Ooh, a little bit of laggy in this program. Anyway. Put all that back in position. I think I ended up rotating those around this way. Doing something like this with them. So that way then the travel moves across those pieces will be minimal. And then I basically just took and lined up all these pieces really close to each other, like such. And that, like I said, that works really good. You always want to have your parts as close as you can without touching, just so that minimizes the time when it's traveling in between the parts. Obviously you don't want to get them too close if they're like buttoned up against each other or something, but in this case it worked out just fine. But anyway, so again, you go through and do your layer preview. as per usual, and waiting for all that to slice. Now I just did a 25% infill, which is probably way denser than I need, but in these patterns I tend to like it just being that much denser. It tend to not have any weird issues. But let's pull around so you guys can see this one part here. So as we scroll up through the layers, see, and I probably got the, oh, see now it's basically has to do that big step to put the that hole in, and that again it would probably taper at like a 45-degree angle before it actually picked up, and you'd have a big old nasty mess on the inside. I didn't want that for the test fit parts. Anyway, so that's it, and I'll take you to the printers. Let's grab this first one here. It doesn't really matter which SD card I put in. I put the same files on each one. Alright. I really dislike these fans on this printer, so that's definitely something I need to change later. Alright. Bed is pretty clean. Get this one rolling. So this one's getting the finished part in this silver, which will be pretty close to the color of the lathe. The only thing I'll have to do when I get done is a little post-processing on the holes, because I set it up where it has a sacrificial bridge in the model file. So that should be ready to go. And then we're going to come down below here and work on swapping out filaments in this other printer. Alright, well, I'm going to bring you back when this is a little further along so you can see how it progresses throughout its print. Alright, well, it looks like it's printed nice and smooth, so bring you back when this gets all done. I'm just going to let this run overnight as it does its thing. It's still not up to full speed. I'll have to do a couple more layers before it starts really ripping. I set this one to actually print pretty fast, so. But also up above here, we have the finished machine ones printing away. So I'll actually have both the before and after ready to go once this is done tomorrow. All right, let's see how this all came out. So already I can see an issue. Looks like the didn't stay perfectly glued down on this one corner, so I'll have to reprint this piece. And and this one didn't stay glued down either. I think this one might be okay. I can see it's curved just a little bit, but we'll see. I might just reprint those two pieces and hope for the best. This unfortunately I had to let it sit while I was gone, so it's the bed's contracted a little bit, which helps peel everything loose. Oh yeah, that's got a pretty bad contact area, so I'll probably reslice it and have it print it in the middle there where it prints a little nicer. The unfortunate side of this being a prototype is I still have a couple little quality control issues where this bed has a crown to it that causes me some issues, but I gotta work out a fixture to be able to press this and flatten it. Anyway, we'll go upstairs and look at the next one. So these parts are the finished machine version of what we just had down below. And if I pull one of these up, so like a lot of things don't quite line up because this has actually been adjusted for shrinkage. But another thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to drill through these holes. I set up with a sacrificial bridge in the bottom of the hole there. I knew it wouldn't be perfect, but it would be able to, something I could spot through. But these should work pretty good just for a test fit up piece. But yeah, I'm going to get all these peeled off and reprint those other two, and then we'll get these sent out.